In today's episode, we are talking about the question that so many people are asking right now. Should I rent my house out or should I capitalize and sell it? So that's what we're going to be discussing in today's episode. So stay tuned.
Time to Talk Tuesday, where your local realtor, Antonio Newton, discusses the local market and common issues, providing quick solutions, creative ideas, as well as tips for investors, home buyers, and homeowners.
Before we dive into today's episode, this is just a friendly reminder that you can catch all of our video content on our YouTube channel at Antonio Newton. There you will find over 100 videos made just for you, the consumer, the client. You'll have all of our time to talk videos. You'll have our monthly market updates. You'll have our after coffee interview series where we interview local business people and those involved in the real estate transaction. And then you also find our homes of the day. And don't forget to connect with us on other social media platforms such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, as well as Twitter. So let's dive right in. So, should I rent my house out or should I sell it? Well, that is a great question right now. With it being such a seller's market, a lot of landlords, a lot of homeowners are taking advantage of the equity in their position for having a property to sell. But you may want to keep it and rent it out. And the question is, should I do? Which one should I do? Well, there's not a right or wrong answer, and everything's going to be specific to your situation. But we are going to discuss a couple of factors that you may want to consider and think about whenever making your decision. One, we know oftentimes people have heard things about the market on how much someone was able to take out of their house. I sold my house and I was able to make X amount of dollars. Or, I had a rental property one time and my tenants were horrible. And sometimes these stereotypes can lean you to go one way or another. And not that these aren't true, but you never can really form a complete full picture by just listening to one story. So here's some things to think about. So yes, there are bad renters. There's also good renters. Of course, you want a renter who's going to, if you decide to rent it out, you want them to pay on time and you want to take care of your property. What are the benefits of renting? Well, one, they continue to help you build equity in the property. Now, you will get some money. Ideally, you'll get some money each month from renting it out once all the bills are paid, once you put money away for maintenance fees and things like that. If you decide to hire a property manager, your property manager fee, you'll get some money each month. It won't be a ton, most likely, but what that renter is doing is if you still have a mortgage, then every time they make a rent payment and you pay that mortgage, you're building yourself more equity. Now, yes, the market is going to eventually correct itself, slow down, and prices may not be selling for quite as much. But did you know that homes now are selling for more than what they sold for whenever in '07, whenever the market crashed and people held on to the asset, and now they've been able to gain more. So real estate normally is always a long-term investment, long-term goal. So if you're playing the long-term game, eventually that property is going to be paid off. And then depending on your specific situation, you could use it to pay for kids' college. You could use it as an asset to leverage to start a business. You could use it to leave your family in the event of your death. So there's a lot of things that you could do that you have access to with that property. So one of my questions is, if you're going to sell it, what are you going to do with the money? Are you going to invest it into something else? Is it going to continue to grow for you? Because if you're just going to take this money out and then blow it, is that the best thing? Maybe, maybe not. When's the last time you had a vacation? Maybe you want to go to Vegas. Maybe you want to take that money out to start a business. So it always depends on what your specific situation is. We obviously don't want you to miss the opportunity. It is a seller's market, and you could probably sell your home for top dollar right now. And if the home is not in the best condition, we here at Coldwell Banker, we have a program where we can help get your property in a esteemed condition to be able to sell it for top dollar if you don't have the capital. But you gotta navigate the list versus sell. And should you decide to rent, One thing you want to do is look up what rents are going for in your area. There's a rental shortage as well. So here in our area, rents are at an all-time high. So it may behoove you to keep it because you can rent it out and still continue to build equity and still continue to build wealth. Maybe you've always wanted to own rental property, so this would be a good time. Without having the capital to necessarily go buy a rental property, you can use your house that you're going to be moving out of, if you're looking to purchase another one, to get your first taste of being an investor, of being in the rental property. And they say the first one to get, or the hardest one to get, is your first one. So once you get that one, then you can use that momentum and it'll snowball. You keep saving, then you'll be able to get a second one and then a third one. And then your whole financial profile, as well as your wealth situation, looks drastically different. But you also got to think, do you have a personal attachment to this house? Some people, obviously, you love this home, especially if you lived in it. So you may be personally attached and very critical of the tenants and very particular about who you put in there. And you could be a little overbearing. Or maybe it was your childhood home that you inherited. This was the home that you grew up in and had memories. And now these tenants are coming and they're not cutting the grass, or they're leaving the trash cans on the side of the road, or anything like that. They're not taking care of it the way you would, and you see it as disrespectful. So these are things that you want to think about, because maybe that wouldn't be the best situation for you to rent out that home if you have that personal attachment to it, because that may be very difficult for you to separate that and make sure that you're not running your tenants off by being an overbearing landlord. You also want to consider if your house appeals to renters. Where's it located at? What about the neighborhood? Do you have a single family home in a neighborhood that is built for families? Because then maybe if you have a home that doesn't fit in with the neighbor demographic, maybe that may be hard to rent. If you have a home that's geared towards, a single family or a young couple, then it may be harder for you to rent if it is in a neighborhood that's full of a bunch of kids. Or maybe if you have a house that is, 4 bedrooms, but it's in an area where there's a bunch of college kids, that may not be the best situation. So you really want to think about the home and where it's at, and does it fit in with the surroundings? Does it have easy access? Because people want to be able to commute to work. They want to commute to entertainment. They want to commute to the amenities, the grocery stores, doctor offices, and things like that. So you want it to be feasible for a tenant and desirable for a tenant. And then you also want to, once again, it comes down to the numbers. Make sure you can make a profit. Now, remember, that profit that you make is not only what you're getting each month, but the fact that they're paying down your equity, paying down your balance if you still have a loan on it. And at the same time, you're building equity as that home value rises. So you may only be making a few $100s a month, but each mortgage payment, your balance goes down. And the longer you keep the property, your equity going up. So your wealth is building like this. I'll tell you a quick story. We working with a gentleman. He's here at Fort Jackson, and everywhere he went and got stationed, he bought a house. Used his VA loan, of course, no money down, great program. But whenever he moved, he kept the house and he rented it out. Obviously, it was in a military location, so a lot of times he was renting the military. And now he's getting ready to retire, and guess what? All of his houses are paid for. He only lived, I think the longest one he lived in was 5 years. But now he has 5 paid for houses. Now he's going to take advantage of the market and sell those houses and buy his retirement house and sell into the sunset. But that was to him taking advantage of the situation that he was in, having military people who, obviously we know they got steady income. They take care of most properties. So having them stay in his property, he had a property management company rented out, and then he was able to build wealth over his lifetime by doing that. So that may work for you, it may not. But what you need to do is just think about the question of, should I sell or should I lease? And that question is going to be up to you. So what does this video mean for you? Well, that largely depends on your position. It would be highly unfair for me to try to predict how you can utilize this information to benefit you and your family, or maybe someone you know. But what I can do is invite you to give us a call or shoot us a text or email, and let's have a conversation. Let's just have a quick chat to see where you're at, and then maybe if we can work together and help each other. There's no obligation, just to reach out and get some quality information. And feel free once again to look at any of the other videos, because it may be also addressing the same topic that may benefit you. But until then, I look forward to your call. And if there's ever a topic you want us to discuss, then please reach out, because we'd be more than happy to cover it on our next episode.
This episode of Time to Talk Tuesday was brought to you by the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker, where nothing works until we do. Look for our episodes every Tuesday where Antonio Newton discusses the local market and common issues while providing quick solutions, creative ideas, as well as tips for investors, home buyers, and homeowners. If you'd like to reach out to us, we can be reached online and on land at area code 803-608-2597. So until next time, here's wishing you all fair winds, following seas, and gentle tides.